Your chronological age and your biological age are not the same number. Studies can now measure how old your body actually is at the cellular level, and the difference between people of the same chronological age can be as large as 20 years. Research has identified 4 primary factors that determine which direction your biological clock runs. You control more of this than you were ever told. Harvard researcher David Sinclair's work, published in Cell, proposes that aging is not caused by wear and tear, it's caused by the loss of epigenetic information. The cells lose their ability to read the genome correctly. And critically, interventions that restore this information can reverse biological age markers, even in adults who are already old. Research shows this pattern is more consistent across populations than previously understood. In this video, we are going to see what current longevity science identifies as the 4 most evidence-backed factors that measurably slow or reverse biological aging, and the mechanisms behind why each one works at the cellular level. Research shows this pattern is more consistent across populations than previously understood. Studies find these effects are measurable and reproducible across independent research groups. The old model of aging said it was simply wear and tear, like a machine breaking down. Use the parts enough and they fail. This framing made aging seem inevitable and unmanageable. The new longevity science says something entirely different. Aging is primarily an information loss problem. Cells gradually lose the ability to express genes correctly. And information loss, unlike mechanical failure, can in principle be reversed. Telomeres, the protective caps on your chromosomes, shorten with every cell division. When they become critically short, cells stop dividing and become senescent. They don't die, but they emit inflammatory signals that damage surrounding tissue. This is one of the central mechanisms of aging. Nobel laureate Elizabeth Blackburn's research showed that specific lifestyle factors directly protect telomere length. The epigenetic clock, developed by Steve Horvath at UCLA, can measure biological age from DNA methylation patterns with remarkable precision. Studies comparing people with the same chronological age show biological age differences of 15 to 25 years. The variables responsible? Primarily, the 4 lifestyle factors the research has most consistently identified as aging accelerators or decelerators. Research shows this pattern is more consistent across populations than previously understood. Factor 1. Caloric restriction and time-restricted eating. Research across multiple species, including primates, shows that reducing caloric intake by 20 to 30% extends healthy lifespan by activating longevity pathways including AMPK and sirtuins, while inhibiting mTOR, the cellular growth signal that, when chronically activated, accelerates aging. Time-restricted eating produces similar pathway activation without severe caloric restriction. Research shows this pattern is more consistent across populations than previously understood. Factor 2. Exercise, specifically the combination of aerobic training and resistance work. Research shows aerobic exercise is the single most potent activator of BDNF and telomere protective enzymes. A meta-analysis found that people who exercise regularly have telomeres that are the equivalent of 9 years younger than sedentary peers of the same age. 9 years, from exercise alone. Research shows this pattern is more consistent across populations than previously understood. Factor 3 and 4 are sleep quality and chronic stress management. When researchers measure the impact of each anti-aging factor on the biological clock, they find the contributions are roughly additive. Optimize all 4 and the measured biological age advantage is substantial. Research shows this pattern is more consistent across populations than previously understood. Studies find these effects are measurable and reproducible across independent research groups. Sleep is the body's primary maintenance window. During deep sleep, the glymphatic system, a waste clearance network unique to the brain, flushes beta-amyloid and tau proteins that accumulate during waking hours. These are the same proteins implicated in Alzheimer's disease. Research shows that chronic sleep restriction by just 1 to 2 hours doubles the rate of amyloid accumulation in the brain. The 4 anti-aging factors form a complete longevity protocol when combined deliberately. Each works through distinct mechanisms, and each amplifies the others. The research doesn't support any one factor in isolation as sufficient. It is the combination that produces the largest measured effect on biological age. Research shows this pattern is more consistent across populations than previously understood. Studies find these effects are measurable and reproducible across independent research groups. The timeline for measurable biological age improvement, when all 4 factors are applied consistently, is faster than most people expect. Epigenetic clock studies show detectable changes in as little as 8 to 12 weeks with sustained lifestyle intervention. Research shows this pattern is more consistent across populations than previously understood. Studies find these effects are measurable and reproducible across independent research groups. The daily habits that implement all 4 anti-aging factors overlap significantly, which is convenient. A well-designed daily routine can activate all 4 mechanisms simultaneously without requiring an unrealistic time investment. Research shows this pattern is more consistent across populations than previously understood. Studies find these effects are measurable and reproducible across independent research groups. The evidence here is robust, replicated, and directly relevant to your daily health choices. Starting the anti-aging protocol doesn't require perfecting all 4 factors at once. Research on behavior change shows sequential implementation. Mastering one habit before adding the next produces better long-term adherence and outcomes. Research shows this pattern is more consistent across populations than previously understood. Studies find these effects are measurable and reproducible across independent research groups. The evidence here is robust, replicated, and directly relevant to your daily health choices. Biological aging is not a fixed destiny. The research is clear that 4 specific factors, exercise, time-restricted eating, quality sleep, and chronic stress management, measurably slow and in some markers reverse the biological clock. The mechanisms are understood. The evidence is strong. And the interventions are available to everyone, starting today. Research shows this pattern is more consistent across populations than previously understood. The science of aging has changed dramatically in the last decade. We now know that your biological age is not locked in. The 4 factors that determine how fast your clock runs are under your control. You don't need drugs. You don't need extreme protocols. You need consistency with what the research has already proven to work. If today's video helped clarify something, share it with someone who needs it. Most people never see research summarize this clearly.